7 dogs went missing from their village in China and somehow walked nearly 10 miles through freezing conditions to find their way home, and leading the pack was a small Corgi. Today I want to show you how to draw this incredible dog. You need some white paper, a pencil, a pen, an eraser, and your choice of colouring pencils. So we're going to start off our Corgi today with a circle for its head. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, you can draw around something like a coin, but really it's just a preparatory shape that we're going to be using. Now we're going to be drawing a diagonal oval, just coming down from this one. I'm going to roughly measure it. So the diameter of this circle, I'm going to go down once and just a little bit more. You can see that my measurements aren't exactly very scientific, but it helps just doing it that way. And it's quick and easy. So just an oval shape. Just remember, hit pause and rewind if I go too quickly. You can watch the video as many times as you need to. So a nice big oval shape here. Let's add in the nose. So just in the bottom right hand side of this circle, I'm just going to be adding a little circle here. I'm going to be adding an eye, just there. And then diagonally left, we're going to be adding the other eye. I'm going to be putting in the mouth, so a curved line, another curved line, and the tongue's going to be sticking out. It's going to be a really lovely portrait of a Corgi. I'm sure the Queen has, or she did have, many a portrait of her 30 Corgis that she had over her lifetime. Right, so we're going to be adding in these huge ears. So it doesn't matter if you get this part wrong, you can always erase it and then start again. And then another one on the other side. There we go. So I've chosen the position that this Corgi's in very carefully to kind of show that it's a leader. So it's kind of standing, well, it's not really standing, it's sitting nice and straight and tall. Okay, so a line coming down here, joining that circle up to the oval. I'm going to be adding in the hind leg. So roughly about halfway down this oval shape, we're going to be drawing a line. It's going to come out, it's going to curve round. And before you hit the ground, just there, it's going to be coming inwards. This is going to be its hind leg. And a line there for the paw. Let's add in a circle here for the front paw. Well, it's not really a circle, sorry, an oval. And then another oval shape here for the other front paw. And then coming upwards from this oval, a curved line crossing over that oval, the bigger oval, coming upwards. One going upwards and one going upwards. So I'm switching to pen, but please do carry on in pencil. This is just so you can see it better. We'll be starting off with the nose. So one nostril and another nostril. To the top of the nose. Coming down and finishing off the nose. Now for the top of the lip, it's coming downwards and round. Looks like it's smiling. And another one like that, drawing 2 diagonal lines just coming up here. I'm going to be adding a tooth just there. And then the tongue's going to be coming round and upwards like this. And then a line there. We're going to colour it in black where you can't really see any more of the tongue. And then from this line, it's going to be coming downwards and then diagonally across. I'm going to be adding a little bit more detail when we come to colour it more in. But for the time being, just going to add in a few more teeth in here. And then a line there. Just put in some furry lines around here. Now for the really important bits, which are the eyes. This is how we convey emotions through animal drawings. So this portrait, he's a real leader, so we want that kind of, that look that it's looking off into the distance and looking upwards as well. You know how when you get those headshots of people in leadership roles, they all seem to be looking upwards and into the distance, into the horizon. Okay, here we go. And then I'm drawing a little rectangle or a little square of light. That's the reflection. It really makes it come alive. Adding in the pupil there. And then a couple of tufts for the eyebrows. Now we're going to come on to the top of the head. So just some little dashes to show that it's furry. Then we hit the ear, so just drawing this ear, coming round. Then the inside of the ear. So this particular corgi was called Dapang, which apparently means big fatty. And in English, the word corgi is derived from the Welsh, meaning dwarf dog. There we go. It's coming around like this. They were originally bred to herd cattle, and they'd kind of like herd them by nipping at their ankles, poor cows. Okay, so just make it a little bit fluffy inside this ear. So these dogs have very, very fluffy and furry coats, which probably helped this dog to survive. When it was so cold, it was below freezing. The area in China where they made their amazing walk home. So just continuing with these little dashes, which makes it look like it's super furry, all the way down. And the same on this side. So this is a Pembroke Corgi. There are two main types, Pembroke Corgi and a Cardigan Corgi. The Cardigan Corgi is actually over 3,000 years old. Well, that's the breed, not the particular Corgi. So the Pembroke Corgis, that breed kind of came about in the 10th century. Right, so I've done like a little zigzag line. That's going to help us know where the white area finishes and where the kind of the beigey area starts. Let's finish off the tummy and the chest that it's puffing out. Come all the way down till you get to there. So I'm curious, do you think animals understand leadership in the same way as humans? Let me know your thoughts down below. So here we're going to be drawing the leg. Just come down, follow that preparatory line that we did before. And now for the paws. Just add in the digits. And come up again. Just going to add some little claws in the end here. Just like that, not quite as long as I've done. Okay, now we're doing the other side. Again, adding in the little claws, like that, and then we can just see the base of the tummy. Here we can see some fur just poking out, so these dashes carrying on the tummy area, following this oval shape that we did before. This separates the body area from the hind leg. Now we're going to be doing the hind leg, so longer strokes where the fur is a little bit more flat. This is the hind leg and paw, which is just tucked underneath its body. Like that. So now if you haven't gone over it in pen, go over it in pen and then erase all the pencil lines. So I've erased all the pencil lines. I'm just coming back in to draw a couple of dots around the muzzle area. And we're going to add in some whiskers, just a few. Right, colouring in time. So get your coloured pencils. We're just going to delineate where the kind of the sandy colour, or yellow ochre I'm actually using, starts and where it stops. So it's around here on the facial area, coming down, coming up about here and there. And this is actually kind of a white pinky area in the ears, so we're not going to do much there. And then this one comes up around there, and then the same on the other side. And then round like that. So I'm just going to colour this area in. So now we're going to be doing this area. So I've actually delineated it in pen. So all this area is in this colour, in yellow ochre, but I'm going to leave the paw white. So we'll see what I mean. I'm just going to speed this up. So for the white areas, I'm going to be using this grey. So I'm just going to leave the areas that are really, really white, with areas of sunlight where the light's actually coming from this direction. So I'm going to leave those white, but I'm going to colour in the rest grey here. Just like this. So I'm just going to colour it in here. So have you actually seen the viral video of these 7 dogs? If you have, then you'll probably notice that there were a group which included golden retrievers, German shepherds, Labrador, and a Pekingese, I believe, and also our beloved Corgi, who was the leader of the pack. And they were filmed walking along the highway in Changchun. So nobody really knows why they were kidnapped, or if they were kidnapped, or if they just walked off one day and followed one of them. There are many theories going around on the internet. But I'm so glad that they actually found their owners, which is all that matters. I'm just going to speed this up. Just adding a little bit of shadow to the underbelly, just round here. Just a tiny bit around the nose area and the muzzle here. Going upwards and inside the ear, inside the other ear. Now using a brown, I'm going to add in a couple of shades to its coat. Notice that my colouring in is in the direction of growth of the fur. So that's very important to make it look like fur. So I'm not just scribbling in any kind of direction, I'm just actually drawing the dashes that I'm doing using my colouring pencil in the direction of fur growth. So here it's going upwards, as you can see. And then it goes round. So it's helpful to study if you've got a pet, have a look at the way that and direction that their fur grows. That also applies to when you're drawing hair. So just a little tip for you to take away today. Tips are a lot darker, and also inside. We're going to add a little bit of pink to them in a minute. Particularly around the mouth. And just very lightly underneath here. A little bit on the paws. Here. Very much so on the back paws. Now I'm also going to add in some brown for the shadow on the ground so it doesn't look like our corky's floating in the air. Remember the direction of light's coming in from there. It's mainly here on the left hand side. I'm going to go over that in grey. Using my pink, I'm just going to add some pink to the tongue. And a tiny bit to the ears. I'm going to go over that with a darker red. Now with my black, I'm going to be going around the eyes just here to really make them stand out. A little bit like eyeliner. There we go. And then colouring in the mouth. Be careful not to colour in the teeth. I'm also going to use this black to show the areas of real shadow, so just underneath here, where the darkest shadows are. It's a nice contrast against the white. Now for the nose. Leave a little bit white underneath the nostrils so that you can see, so you can actually see it with the pen and also the black colouring pencil. And I'm making it a little bit darker around the muzzle area and up here. Tiny bit darker inside the ears. I'm just adding very lightly some black to the fur. With my dark brown, I'm going to colour in the eyes, except leave that little square white so it shows the reflection of light. I'm now going to press a little bit heavier when I go over the area that I did before. So we're effectively blending using colouring pencils. Remember to do it in the direction of growth of the fur. The secret to colouring in with colouring pencils is to build layer upon layer. So we started off really lightly, now we're going over it much heavier. Now with my yellow ochre again, I'm just going over the areas that we did before, but pressing a lot heavier. Particularly around here, press really heavily here. Now time to use your eraser and just very lightly, just use circular motions to blend all the areas together so it doesn't look quite so dramatic. It's a really easy way to blend. You can also erase some bits where you've smudged. So there we have our finished Corgi drawing. If you want to go deeper into drawing emotions in animals, watch this one next or check out my dog playlist here.